As turmoil in the Middle East continues, Gulf states are increasingly looking to Asia for economic strength. Asia has become the biggest trading partner of the Gulf Cooperation Council, or the GCC. Now, that resilience is in part due to rising demand in Asia, mainly for fuel and resources. The Kuwait firm Asia Investments is now moving its entire management team here to Hong Kong so it can focus on what it calls emerging Asia. I spoke to the firm's group managing director and first asked him what concerns him the most if or when the Fed starts to taper.
I think the question is, as you said, the quantum of the tapering, and we believe that the quantum will be marginal over the course of the next few quarters. I think there has been an overreaction to the tapering in terms of the flow of funds that we've seen come out of emerging markets. However, the knock-on effect of a tapering of the Fed means that we're looking at the G3 or the developed economies coming back into growth scenarios, at which point this region in Asia should be benefiting from a stronger US economy, European economy, who traditionally have been the biggest trade partners to Asia.
It may be an overreaction, but we cannot deny the effect it's had in the past couple of months, especially with India, Indonesia, and the currencies getting hammered. And another country that you focus on with your company is China. China slowing down to about 7.5%. How are you playing the whole China story?
Well, we still think that China is a resilient economy and will continue to deliver growth. We monitor areas of risk, which everyone does at this stage, and has highlighted being the shadow banking part of the economy and the financial sector, and potential correction or a large correction in the real estate market. But we still believe that domestic demand is on the rise. We've seen retail sales increase. In fact, I've just come back from Beijing and was very surprised by the amount of consumption and middle class that was out on the street and really driving the economy.
So are your investments more focused on domestic consumption, especially since Beijing is trying to make that pivot?
Definitely. I think for us, we're very long-term investors in Asia, and we're in Asia for when it becomes a consumer of goods and services, and not when Asia comes back to being an export-driven economy.
Another country that you also invest in is Korea. What is attractive about South Korea?
Well, South Korea has, in the last couple of decades, delivered some of the leading businesses in the world. I mean, we have global leaders in technology, global leaders in automotive, and we think that their ability to shift their exports from being essentially developed market focus to inter-Asia trade, and I think as we've seen, Korea is now has a significant amount of exports towards China. We think that this will in turn drive earnings for Korean companies and will continue to support their growth.
That was Ahmad Al-Hamad, Group Managing Director of Asia Investments, which has $450 million under management. I also asked him about India and whether he's cautious about the situation there. He said he thinks the fundamentals in India are sound, but it's really the policy making and the reforms or the lack of reforms that are hindering the economy there. Nina.